Welcome, racing fans, to the one, the only RP, the Racing Podcast, and we are going full throttle. I'm your host, Manny Allegretto. Last weekend's racing action, the West Coast, Fonatna, California for NASCAR, and the Land Down Under for Formula One. NASCAR headed to the Auto Club Speedway. The Xfinity Series event on Saturday, the TreatMyClock.com 300 by Jansen. The winner, Austin Dillon in the number 2 Chevy, who led one lap, gained 4 points in a very crazy and exciting race on Saturday night. Kyle Busch comes in second in the 18 Toyota, who led 133 laps, most laps led on Saturday night. Darrell Wallace Jr. comes in third in the number 6 Ford. He gained 2 points. Daniel Suarez in fourth in the 19 Toyota. And Elliott Sadler comes in fifth in the number 1 Chevy. Then Sunday was the Auto Club 400. Jimmy Johnson, the winner. Superman in the Superman car at 48 Chevy, who led 25 laps, gained 1 point. Kevin Harvick finishes second in the number 4 Chevy, led 142 laps. And he had 2 crazy finishes on Saturday, this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. But again, you get those late questions, and this one was off a restart of a green-white checkered, and Harvick has had some trouble with his car on Sunday, but Jimmy Johnson will go to the checkered. Finishing third, Denny Hamlin, the 11 Toyota. He led 2 laps, gained 2 points. Joey Logano finishes fourth. The 22 Ford led 3 laps, gained 1 point, and then Ricky Stenhouse Jr. in the 17 Ford, he gained 4 points, finishing in fifth. And then it was down to Australia bright and early Sunday morning in the city of Melbourne. Formula One season opener with the Australian Grand Prix. Nico Rosberg in the number 6 Mercedes is the winner. Second place, Lewis Hamilton. Third place, Sebastian Vettel, the number 5 car. Hamilton in the 44. Daniel Ricciardo in the number 3 comes in fourth. And Felipe Massa comes in fifth. He's driving the number 19 Mercedes. So you had 2 Mercedes, a Ferrari, an Infiniti, and a Mercedes running out the top 5. So the Auto Club 400, 200 laps, was actually 204 with the overtime. Start time 3:49 and finish time was 6:49, 2 hours, actually it was 6:48. So it was like 2 hours and 59 minutes, but you know, if you want to round up, 3 hours. And this was a crazy race. Pole sitter Austin Dillon was the pole sitter on Sunday, and he would take the lead off the start at the drop of the green flag, but Kevin Harvick snatches the lead with no hesitation in the Hot Rod 4 Chevy. Top 3, lap 3, Kevin Harvick, Carl Edwards, Austin Dillon, the 4 to 19, and the 3. And then at lap 10, you had Kevin Harvick, Carl Edwards, and Denny Hamlin rounding out your top 3. Harvick at lap 10 with a 0.7 second lead over second place Carl Edwards, which grew to a 2.4 second lead over Carl Edwards at lap 20, and a 3.9 second lead over third place Denny Hamlin. And I thought at this moment it could have been Denny Hamlin at the double one to win this one on Sunday. And then all of a sudden, here comes Martin Truex Jr. He pops into 4th place, and he started in 17th. And at this moment, I thought, well, maybe Truex Jr. Could have won this one. But anyway, my guy didn't win. My guy came in 4th on Sunday. Question number 1 come out lap 26. The 34 car, Chris Buescher, gets loose and hits the wall. Michael Annett, the 46 car, is the lucky dog. And a race off pit road, won by Carl Edwards, the number 19 car, and he would take the lead into the restart at lap 31. A couple penalties during this caution. Casey Kane, the number 5, Kurt Busch, and the 41, both for crew over the wall too soon, and Denny Hamlin gets popped for pitting too soon. And of course, you got that red light there. They close pit road as soon as the yellow comes out, give time for the cars to line up behind the pace car, and then when the officials think it's okay, then they open up pit road, and everybody can come in. But if you come in before that, pitting too soon. Top 3 lap 33, and that's going to be Carl Edwards, Kevin Harvick, and Martin Truex Jr., the 9, the 4, and the 78. And then you have the 4 and the 19 19 battling for the lead. Hot Rod Harvick and, of course, Cousin Carl, back and forth for these two guys. At lap 40, you had Kevin Harvick, Carl Edwards, and Truex Jr. Now, Kevin Harvick finally gets into the lead, so you had Harvick, Edwards, Truex Jr. top three at lap 40. And then at lap 43, it was Harvick, Truex Jr. now running second, and Carl Edwards running third. That'd be the 4, the 78, and the 19. Kevin Harvick at lap 46 gained a 1.2 second lead over second place Truex Jr. and a 2-second lead over third place Carl Edwards. And at this point, I was still thinking it could have been Truex Jr.'s day. He did bump the wall a little bit, and it kind of messed his car up. And I think that after that, later on towards the end of the race, and kind of messed up his mojo for on Sunday. And a big wreck, a scary one for Kyle Larson, and this one was a little very crazy. The 42 car loses it, ends up in straight into the infield wall, major damage, and this was scary. Coming out of the straight, heading it right. I think they said back straightaway heading into turn 3, down left rear tire. This is burning out caution number 2, and that was at lap 47. Brian Vickers, the lucky dog, and Vickers was in the 14 car this week. Race off pit road won by Kevin Harvick, and Kevin Harvick would take the lead into the restart, which would be at lap 53. During this caution, Brad Keselowski, and this was kind of weird, uncontrolled tire, and the tire guy brings the tire to the wall. The tire bounces off the wall, just a little bounce, and starts rolling. Now, it didn't leave the pit box area. It was still in the pit box, but they still called uncontrolled tire. And, of course, you know what happens when you get a penalty under question. You got to start in the rear. And what do you know? Joe Logano in front right after this restart. And then I kind of thought, well, maybe it could be Joe Logano taking the lead, but Joe Logano has been having some issues so far this year with his number 22 Pennzoil Shell car. Top 3 lap 60, Kevin Harvick, Truex Jr., and Matt Kenseth, the 4, the 78, and the 20 top 3. Kevin Harvick goes from a 0.8 second lead over Truex Jr. at lap 60 to a 2.5 at lap 70, and then a 3.9 over third place Matt Kenseth at lap 70. Truex would pop into the lead as Kevin Harvick comes into pit. Around this time, around this time, he had the first round of green flag pit stops, and at lap 79, Jimmy Johnson would take the lead, and then 2 penalties during this round of green flag pit stops. The 27 car Paul Menard speeding on pit road, and the 83 car Matt DiBenedetto for removal of equipment. Top 3 lap 100 at the race halfway mark, Kevin Harvick, Jimmy Johnson, and Truex Jr. So now you have the 4, the 48, and the 78 for second and third. Harvick with a 2.1 second lead over Jimmy Johnson at lap 101. But that lead got cut to a 1.1 at lap 105. So Superman was trying to get it done on Sunday. And, because they got the movie Batman vs. Superman. Jimmy Johnson was Superman, and Dale Jr. was Batman. So, if you're wondering what was going on Sunday, that was the deal. Jimmy Johnson would take the lead at lap 106. Truex Jr. pops up into second. Chase Elliott pops into third. And I said, well, maybe it could be Chase Elliott. I know he's still kind of young yet in the Sprint Cup Series, but, you know, anything can happen. You never know. Question number 3 come out at lap 108, and this is for Trevor Bayne, the number 6 car. Smoking, slaps the wall, turn 1, tire down. Denny Hamlin is the lucky dog. Kevin Harvick would take the lead into the restart, and that would be lap 115. Clint Boyer, the 15 car, gets popped for a crew over the wall too soon. So, restart lap 115. Kevin Harvick with the control car, but Jimmy Johnson would take the lead right after that restart, and Kevin Harvick would drop down into 4th. And Kevin Harvick was reporting issues with his car on Sunday, and, you know, people say, like, well, you know, how does one car beat the other? Because the cars are built every week. Every week, they're out there with a new car. So it's not like you're having the same exact car every week. Yes, it's a Chevy. It was a Chevy last week. It's a Chevy this week, Chevy next week. But the cars are built, and there's a new car on that track every week. Just the way Bill Francina planned it all out back in 19 47. Question number 3, we did that. Top 3 lap 120, Jimmy Johnson, Truex Jr., and Matt Kenseth. Now you have Jimmy Johnson in the lead, 48, the 70, and the 20. And then question number 4 would come out. And this one, which was very unfortunate for Danica Patrick, the number 10 car, major damage going into the grass after hitting the wall. The 10 car of Patrick contacted by the number 5 car of Casey Kane. Casey Kane trying to get around Danica Patrick, and the big deal was that Casey Kane was a lap down, so why was he trying to get around Patrick in the first place? And this would send Patrick into the wall, bounces off the wall, and down into the apron, into the infield grass. How can grass damage the car? The splitter, which we explained before, part of the downforce package, that car's coming down at a little bit of an embankment, because you figure you got an embankment around that whole track. It's not just the turns, it's also the straights. So that car's coming in, and that splitter just grabs the grass, and you're coming in at a good clip, and and it's all the sheet metal, and so grass does do some damage to these cars. Now Patrick gets out of the car and starts walking into the track apron, perhaps looking for the number 5 car, and later on we'll talk about she actually got popped with a $20,000 fine and put on probation for the next 4 races for that. Now nothing happened with Trevor Bayne. He did get, Casey Kane. He did get called to the hole, however, but nothing came out. And he came out and said that it was an accident. The lucky dog, the 44 car of Brian Scott, Truex Jr. wins the race off pit road and will take the lead into the restart, and that would be at lap 130. The 19 car speeding on pit road, section 3, Cousin Carl, Casey Kane at this point being called to the hall, and Danica Patrick not happy. And now, this part is where the race started getting exciting. I mentioned before, you get stages in the race, you get the first part of the race, and everyone getting all into it, and then you get like the middle of the race, and you just watch them go around and see what happens. But then you get certain points where things start to get interesting, and at this point, I thought that Truex Jr. was going to win on Sunday. And so, top 3, lap 133, Truex Jr., Kevin Harvick, and Jimmy Johnson. But man, Kevin Harvick was making Truex work for it. And this is where the race got exciting, as I mentioned. So you had Kevin Harvick, Truex Jr. back and forth for the lead. And then at lap 140, you had the top 3 of Kevin Harvick. Finally took control of that lead. Kevin Harvick, Truex Jr., Jimmy Johnson. Kevin Harvick with a 1 second lead over second place Truex Jr. and a 1.3 second lead over third place Jimmy Johnson at lap 140. Jimmy Johnson would move into second. Truex Jr. popped down to third. And at lap 139, you had 30 cars on the lead lap. And then at lap 150, top 3, Kevin Harvick, Jimmy Johnson, and now Kyle Busch. So now you can see where Truex Jr. was starting to have a little trouble. But Kevin Harvick with a 2.7 second lead over Jimmy Johnson running second, and a 5.9 second lead over third place Kyle Busch. And then at 150, Truex hits the wall, loose but saved after contact from the 22 car of Joey Logano. And then Kenseth, then Truex Jr. would drop down to 6th. Joey Logano would climb up into 4th place. So, now you figure, this is like the last 50 laps right now, so now things are starting to wind down. Debris from Truex car brings out question number 5, lap 155, and debris between turns 3 and 4. No lucky dog for this one. And on top of that, so here you are down in 6th, you hit the wall, come in, and then the 78 car also gets popped for speeding on pit road, which pretty much just ruined your day a little bit. Race off pit road won by Denny Hamlin. But Jimmy Johnson take the lead into the restart. The control car still lap 160. Lap 164. Now, Joey Logano then pops into first for a little bit. So now you have a battle between the 48 and the 22 for the lead. Joey Logano, though, his lead over, and then Kevin Harvick pops into second. Jimmy Johnson drops down to third, because at lap 164, you had Logano, Harvick, and Jimmy Johnson first, second, and third. But Kevin Harvick, man, he was only 0.2 seconds behind first place Joey Logano. So the hot rod was taking care of business. And then there was